Hi guys, my final persuasive speech is on the hot topic of abortion and is it ethical and should it be legal? I wanted to open with a few facts that really caught my attention in terms of something that abortion could relate to and may actually get you thinking a little bit. So did you know that if you try to poach, kill, or privately keep a bald eagle or any of its babies that you could face up to 10 years in federal prison? Also, if someone were to murder a pregnant woman at any point in her pregnancy, then that person is charged with 2 counts of murder due to the child that she is pregnant with. And I really wanted to share these to show that there are different viewpoints in terms of if a child is alive and considered a human at the point of certain weeks in a woman's stomach, or is it just a blob of cells? So I'm here to disprove or prove these theories. I also want to share with you real quick that because the speech is about abortion, I did include some pictures of children who had been aborted at different weeks in the pregnancy. And the purpose of this was not to gross you out, but hopefully you can gain some insight from the topic. But I do want to warn that if that is something that you may not be comfortable with, then you may not want to proceed, but I really do want to just enlighten you on this subject. So according to the Center for Disease Control, 91.3% of all abortions occurred during the first trimester or within the first 12 weeks. So I wanted to show between the first couple of weeks all the way to the end of the first trimester what the baby is growing and what's happening. So between 3 and 4 weeks, the baby's heartbeat will begin to form in a regular pattern. At 9 weeks, the baby is able to recognize sound, yawn, and suck on their thumbs. At week 10, all of the major organs in the unborn child will begin to function. Week 12, in the last week of the first trimester, blood begins to form in the bone marrow, kidneys begin to create urine, and the fetus knows and it has the ability to wake up and fall asleep on its own. So this is the end of the first trimester for the babies. And so, according to Roe versus Wade, it is legal to have an abortion up to your 3rd trimester, which is in 28 weeks. So heading into the 2nd trimester, at week 20, one of the major things that happen is that the baby begins to feel and recoil from pain. And at week 22, the baby is able to survive with medical assistance. So I just wanted to put in perspective that at week 22, they are able to survive with help from medical assistance, and babies are able to be aborted up until 28 weeks, which is when a woman begins her 3rd trimester. And in the 3rd trimester, I did a little more research. The baby is able to be up to 2.5 pounds and up to 16 inches long. So from there on out, the baby has a very great chance of living and doing things almost on its own. So I created a political timeline all the way from when abortions were practiced privately in homes by private doctors to get rid of menstrual blobs, to say the least, all the way to 2015, where the number of abortions dropped by 12% in 2010. So in terms of time, I'm not going to read everything, but if you do have any questions about any of these, I do have a little more information on, and I would love to elaborate. And if you would like to stop the speech and read everything that I have written here, that would be great. So should it be legal? In my personal opinion, yes, it should, but under very certain and rare circumstances. I think that abortion should be legal only for certain people who maybe were raped or have the condition of incest. That is something that that person may not have been able to help and may not have had the choice to make. And some people need to realize that the choice of having sexual intercourse will most likely lead to becoming pregnant and having a baby. So some people have to realize that that's some of the consequences. And even if you don't want the baby, don't have an abortion, have the baby and give it up for adoption. So maybe somehow, some way, the baby will be able to have a loving and healthy home one day. And I also believe that it should not be government funded. This is something that is also could be a very hot topic in itself, so I'm not going to get too far into that. But this is something that should be set up in a private area that, under the right circumstances, should be handled. For people with the opposing viewpoint of my own, I just wanted to point out a few things. The two biggest things are it's just a blob of cells, and it's the woman's body and the woman's choice. As I showed you in previous slides, graphically and factually proved otherwise. In the picture below, this is what I see as a blob of cells. In the picture below that, that is a baby. That's not a blob of cells to me. Even from the earliest weeks of conception, the baby has a heartbeat, and it begins to form very rapidly and very quickly, and that is something that I don't see as a blob of cells. So, and I know other people will refute my way of seeing it, but I'm trying to present as many facts as I can to maybe prove you otherwise. And also, it's the woman's body and the woman's choice. Yes, correct, it is. And under certain circumstances, she has the right to exercise these rights. But also, you have to think about it's not your life at stake, it's someone else's. And most of the time, you made the choice to engage in sexual intercourse, so you mainly have to reap what comes next. So I wanted to share really quick that when I was born, I was 9 pounds and 5 ounces and 23 inches long, which is a pretty big and healthy baby. But I also wanted to share that my mom got pregnant with me at 15 years old, and then I was born when she was 16, so it was very hard for her to keep me because she did have the choice to abort me, and I just wanted to share my personal life story on this point, because even though the baby may not be what is in your correct plan at that very minute and very moment, that God has a greater plan for maybe than what you have for that baby, and that baby can do great things that you may not even have been able to think of. So I just wanted to leave you with that, and no matter what, always remember that even though it may not be your life that you're having to think about, this is a life, a future life of a baby's that could grow into something great and absolutely magnificent. So no matter how you go in terms of abortion, whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, I hope that this speech helped you in terms of understanding how it works. Thanks. And here's my works cited.